You don't need checklists, calendars, alarms, habit trackers, or a mountain of willpower to stay consistent with your Spanish. You just need one thing, and when you have it, everything becomes easier. That's how I went from zero Spanish to becoming a certified medical interpreter in a matter of a few years without grinding away for decades or chipping at the language little by little. And it's how my clients are having real conversations in the real world, saying things like, nothing has gotten me to speak this frequently in the past 2 years of trying different things. Let's talk about what it is and how to build it into your Spanish routine starting today, when everything else like calendars and accountability apps have done nothing to keep you consistent. But first, if you're new to me, te doy una gran bienvenida. My name is Erica Ray. I'm a former Spanish medical interpreter turned teacher and Spanish language coach, now living and loving life abroad here in Mexico. I help Spanish learners who are preparing for relocation or deeper communication with their family and community members. If that sounds like you, then you're in the right place, because although learning Spanish is certainly not easy, it can be surprisingly simple. You just need the right elements in place. I'll leave a full A to Z training in the description so that you can make sure that every essential element of your Spanish routine is covered. And speaking of simplicity, what is this one element that makes all the difference when it comes to consistency? It's human accountability, or to put it another way, human connection. In today's world, we are more distracted than ever. Language learning gadgets, information overload, AI-powered tools, it's all at our fingertips. And while that is amazing, and we can learn any piece of information that we want in an instant, the truth is that information is not leading to transformation. Instead, it's creating confusion for language learners. Language learners are finding it almost impossible to stick to anything. They feel motivated for a week or two because they found a new thing and then fall off and wonder what is wrong with them. Somewhere along the way, we've forgotten why language exists in the first place: to connect with people. If you can't clearly answer the question, who am I planning to use my Spanish with? That's kind of a red flag that you may not be consistent with your learning. And that's a question that we ask every single one of our one-on-one program applicants before we make the space to work with them. So friendly note, if you're thinking about applying with the link that I'll leave you in the description, take a moment to think about the answer to that question. Now, don't get me wrong, there is nothing wrong with learning Spanish because it's a beautiful language, or because you just want to be multilingual, or because it's fun. I love seeing passionate hobby learners go after it and learn Spanish. But after working with hundreds of students, I can tell you that those motivations alone are normally not strong enough to keep going when life gets busy or stressful. And there's no other way to learn Spanish than to be consistent with it. What is strong enough to get you through? Real human connection, and the built-in accountability that comes with that. See, when your goal is to learn Spanish, to build relationships, to be part of a community and feel like you belong, everything else becomes easier. You don't need a perfectly color-coded schedule to be consistent. You just need people to talk to that you care about. When I started learning Spanish, I started on my own too. And I was able to pick up a lot of vocabulary and grammar and learn the basics of the language. And I'm so grateful to have started with a program that immediately immersed me into listening comprehension practice and said, you don't need to understand everything. Don't even worry about it. That input was incredibly valuable. But my ability to speak in coherent sentences and understand real-world paced Spanish did not develop until I had people to speak to. These were people I saw regularly. These were people that I had common goals with. And I would prepare for as many of our interactions as I could, whether that was being able to participate with a comment, ask someone to teach me something, teach something to someone else, learn the vocabulary that I would need so that we could get a cleaning project done, whatever it was. This real world interaction gave me constant human accountability and human connection. I needed Spanish to participate, so I kept showing up. Guys, I am terrible at getting things done if I have no accountability. I don't know if you can relate. But when I know that someone's counting on me to do something, or even that I'll have the opportunity to have a meaningful conversation, I'm there. And my clients say the same thing. They don't speak consistently now because they found the perfect app. They speak because we provide the opportunities for them to connect with other humans, and they don't want to miss out on that connection. Take Alanna, one of our students. She set the goal of being able to use Spanish while traveling. And when the chance came, she jumped in. Why? Not just because she felt more confident to do so, but because she couldn't wait to come back and share the story with us.
Having accountability through you, I told you I was going out of town and I was like, okay, I'm gonna speak with somebody.
Yeah.
And somebody asked me for directions in Spanish, had no idea I could speak. And I was like, okay. But just like telling you that I had a plan and then it happening really boosted my confidence. And then just like that accountability, like I wanted to come back and tell you that it happened, and it did.
So. I love that. That's incredible. And you know, having a community to share it with as well is really motivational. Yes, because we're all there just like ready to celebrate with you.
That's the power of human connection and accountability. In my free masterclass, you'll see even more stories of learners who, in spite of the obstacles that they face, that power of human connection and the built-in accountability pushed them through and has helped them accomplish incredible things.
I went to this Mexican store and I was determined to speak with someone. And so I'm on the last aisle and this man comes up to me and he's speaking to me in English. We're talking. And so then I was like, okay, this is your opportunity. So then I just asked him if he spoke Spanish, and he did. So we switched to Spanish. And so that was my first real one-on-one conversation with a stranger in person, completely spontaneous. And so the fact that I could understand him and he could understand me, that like boosted my confidence like no other. So, and then that's the most important thing, because what am I learning for if I'm not communicating with others?
Having that accountability and someone to just come back to and tell, you know, about what you've been able to do is huge, and it can help us take, you know, risks, so to speak, that maybe we wouldn't do all on our own.
Because non-language learners, they're not as impressed or interested. So to know that someone else is in the same boat that I'm in, like I would love to know that I'm being an encouragement. And then whenever others are encouraging me, I like to let them know too. So yeah, community is important in this process.
So ask yourself, do I already have human accountability, human connection built into my study routine? Or am I focused on my apps, on my books, on my writing assignments? People who actually have a story, like all of us do, and are willing to share it with me, people who I actually want to talk to, not just someone who is drilling me on grammar and vocabulary. Maybe it's your partner who speaks Spanish, or your partner's family. Maybe you can join a weekly conversation group or a volunteer opportunity like I did that requires you to use Spanish. If you don't have this already, you have to create it. Join a conversation club, schedule a recurring language exchange, commit to a weekly update with a study buddy, or just tell someone, ask me what I've learned this week in Spanish and I'll try to describe it to you in Spanish. Anything helps. It all works. Everything works. When you bring humans back into your language learning routine, you don't have to struggle anymore to find ways to be consistent. You just are. Now, if you're feeling nervous about speaking, or if you're an introvert, which, hello, I understand, and if that's what's holding you back from this human connection and this accountability that you need, watch this video next. I'll help you overcome that fear so that you can finally connect with people and move forward.
Because most programs, they're not customizable. Like it's learn the language and you figure it out, you fall off where you do, but this opportunity, it's unique, and I definitely have not experienced that before. You really got my journey started.